So let us understand how consumption of sugar affects our health in nutshell. So sugar is a complex word basically. It doesn't mean a single molecule. There are a lot of molecules combined together. We call them as sugars. So some of the examples we can say, like table sugar we eat, maybe in tea, coffee, or in various cakes, puddings, pastries. So a lot of table sugar is used. Then sugar is also there in jaggery. Then honey has also got a lot of sugar. Then fruits, like without giving any specific example, I would say all fruits which are sweet, they contain sugar, including some dry fruits like dates. Then raisins, they have got a lot. They are concentrated sugars basically. Tomato, though it's considered as a vegetable, but technically it's a fruit. So just to give you a rough idea, one tomato contains about 5 gram of sugar. Then ketchups and sauces on table we use sometimes with other things. So these ketchups, they contain a lot of sugar. Sometimes sort of table sugar is added to make them to give them a sweet taste, or high fructose corn syrup is used. So all these sugars which I have mentioned, somehow they have got combination of two molecules. One is glucose and one is fructose. Like sucrose is table sugar. Table sugar is a combination of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. So once it enters into our system, our intestine, it is split into glucose and fructose. Both are individually absorbed. So whenever we consume all that stuff, not only we get a lot of glucose inside our system, we get fructose too. And this fructose, as I show in this slide, is a key molecule for all our pathologies, all our diseases, which we want to understand as on today. So fructose, once it gets into our system, even if it is a sugar, like for example, it reduces our ATP. ATP, we know it's our energy currency. So in nutshell, you can say, more ATP, more energy is available for me to work, for my system to get repaired, for my brain to function, for my other hormones and other enzymes to work. All of them, they require ATP. So if ATP is low, my energy level will be low. So if I eat a lot of fructose, since ATP is produced in mitochondria, most of our ATP is produced in mitochondria, so fructose depresses the function of mitochondria. So it depresses ATP. So our body will get a signal. Our body will get a signal that energy is low, means it is starving. So by other compensatory mechanisms, our hunger will be stimulated, our appetite will be stimulated. So we'll tend to eat more. So after eating sugars, actually we tend to eat more other fat generating foods. So we tend to overeat. So that is first thing, but you have to understand how diseases, our fatty liver, our fatty body, and fat deposition in another system will happen is simple mechanism of that. Fructose entry into our system will just reduce our energy. Second, fructose directly gets converted into fat in liver. So fructose enters our system, liver takes it. Since we eat a lot of that stuff, liver cannot handle fructose at that rate where it is consumed by us. So it gets deposited locally also, leading to fatty liver and fat deposition at other places too. Then fructose increases our uric acid. It gets directly converted into uric acid. And this high uric acid, apart from giving us arthritis and gout, it leads to our increase in BP. So one becomes hypertensive after eating a lot of sugar. So I'm not talking about eating a lot of salt here. See, just because one has got a habit of taking a lot of sugars in some form, which I mentioned, maybe even a lot of fruits or honey or jaggery, so there will be high BP. Then fructose could lead to development of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance Means our insulin hormone, which is essential for the metabolism of glucose in our system. Our body, our cells will get resistant to it. So this is called as the core pathology of diabetes. So if we say there is an adult, the adult gets diabetes, it's called type 2 diabetes. It's almost synonymous with insulin resistance. There cannot be type 2 diabetes without insulin resistance working in the background. So consumption of fructose, again development of diabetes and its further effects. Then fructose, because it leads to insulin resistance, our brain requires a lot of glucose to function. So if it is resistant to insulin, brain will not be able to make use of glucose. Those areas of brain which are involved in higher functions like recall and intelligence and leading to a conjecture after a complex problem, like our cerebral cortex, or our memory problem like hippocampus, those areas will become insulin resistant. So this could lead to development of Alzheimer's disease, development of brain fog, development of dementia, recall problems, memory problems. So a sort of brain function will be depressed because of chronic introduction of fructose in our system. This is just to tell you in nutshell how consumption of sugar is deleterious to our health.